few months ago, I received an email from a young first-time buyer in Dublin looking for help with some unusual hurdles he faced when it came time to purchase. Despite having considerable funds saved towards a deposit and being successfully self-employed for several years, the lending banks rejected his mortgage application. Why? Because Brian is one of only a handful of full-time magicians in Ireland, and that simply doesn't tick the right box. Home ownership isn't for him right now, so Brian has decided to turn his attention to investing. Here's his story.
I'm hoping to buy a small investment property, get my foot on the property ladder, maybe build a small portfolio. That's a very, very long-term thing. I'm thinking very long-term. So the idea for now though is a small investment property to rent out, get some rental income. It's a bit of planning and a bit of circumstances thrown together. I mean, I'm self-employed and can't get a mortgage. So I have the money there for a deposit for a house, which was what I thought it was for, but circumstances dictate, otherwise the bank say, no, we don't want to give you a mortgage. So there's properties out there for the value of what I have saved for a deposit.
Okay.
So I'm going with that instead.
Did you try for long to get the
Yeah,
mortgage?
I tried for a long time. I had mortgage brokers and friends of mine who were mortgage brokers, and I kept trying. Funnily enough, the same thing, the same idea kept coming back to us. The same answer was, look, the only reason we're considering this is because you have that kind of full-time job in Taylor, kind of full-time contract, but no.
Okay. It was just a stretch too far for
It
the
was
bank.
just, yeah.
Okay.
And one guy, he was very honest in the bank, said to me, look, the only reason I'm looking at this is for the novelty, because I've never seen what a magician makes, or, you know.
See, that's entertaining, but it's not helpful
No,
for
no,
you.
no.
I think Waterford is a really good bet. It's suffering at the moment, and in fact that's likely to continue. Property that's on the market in Waterford has been on the market for years.
Okay.
So generally there's very little movement. So what I would suggest in Waterford is that it's even more important, if you're buying in Waterford, that you buy something very close to the town.
Yeah.
Or very close to the college, and in terms of an investment you're better off closer to town.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you that I really think you should be looking towards houses.
Yeah.
So there's a few different things. The most obvious in Carlow, I think, this is just by way of an example, it's an older property, probably built in the 60s, 70s, and you're actually in John Street in Carlow town, but this is an end of terrace house, 4 bedrooms. It's on the market for about 65,
Okay.
would probably sell for below 50,
Okay.
possibly even the high 40s. It's one that would need work, but it's a solid house. Now, there you go, the location is good, you're close to town, you're actually right in the town, so obviously very attractive for students, but also attractive for professional lettings, and actually even for a family, because that one has a yard and it's 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
So even if you wanted to break it down and let by bedroom,
Yeah.
it's still
You
far
can
more
still-
profitable.
yeah.
And to be honest, the chances are you'll bring that in at maybe 10, 15,000 more expensive than the apartment, but you have the site that it's on, you've the rear yard, you've a solid house, 4 bedrooms, and you're closer to town.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a great Cullen, it's actually in Carlow town. So
Okay.
that's one option to look at, particularly when you have family who can help you with the renovations.
But when I went upstairs and on the roof, underneath here, just come in here, right? So you've got the depth of the stairs here, right? And underneath here is the stairs running up. Now think of my idea, which would be you'd comfortably put shelving and a desk with a mirror behind it, which would bring up much more light. You've actually gained huge space just by actually doing something very, very simple. This house was also renovated previously before, but you're probably, this is where you're on the money, probably in the 60s.
Right.
And what tells me from that is that the type of roof timber, the work to the roof, the way the purlin or the one of the supports to the roof is actually done. I showed Brian there.
To confirm that as well, he said he put work into it around that.
This is in a great location.
Yeah, it
That
is.
could be one of two things. It could be living over a business. Like, I'm only thinking of the engineer or the architect or the solicitor, town office, with a lovely courtyard out the back, but it needs to be partly reconstructed. If you spend 40,000 on the unit, you'd have it. But all this part of the flat roof and these timbers here that we're seeing here are all perfectly intact, and there's no give. They're very solid and sturdy, and is the fabric of the roof and in that of adjoining buildings. It's very clear to me that there was a plumbing event, like a burst pipe, a burst tank, that caused a deluge of water that caused the damage. And again, my advice to the purchaser here would be to strip off the covering, put a marine, that's a low grade type of a chipboard, but put a better marine board on it and line it and paint and put a proper, there's one product, for example, Trocal is a type of product you could put on, or torch on felt, but there's a number of products you can put on. An element of this extension will have to be dealt with.
Yeah.
An element, but look at the stone walls, look at the ivy.
Trying to do is not use out here for an extension. I know it might seem like a waste of space on an investment property, but actually the asset of this town, or of this property, is that it's so close to town. If you could provide a little oasis accompanied by these beautiful stone walls, and what we see outside, growing over the stone walls, it would be beautiful. You'd actually be providing a little oasis in the town. So it's down to the, it's not about appetite for risk at all. For Brian, it's about appetite for work.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Bring it on.
I'm a self-employed magician.
He can work magic.
If he's a magician, he can get rid of a few loans for me.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it actually. And I'm not just saying that flippantly either. I think I can definitely make a good go of it. I have experience and the people around me to help as well.
Since filming with Brian, I'm happy to confirm that his offer on the property has been accepted. Once all the legal I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, Brian will be a landlord, and that's when the real fun begins.